Good morning from Colorado. It's chilly this morning. It was 20 degrees this morning at about 7 o'clock. It's 27 now. Oh gosh, that's crazy. I decided to film outside today because the furnace just keeps kicking on, like, well, pretty much constantly running. It's cold. So I got my hot tea and the wind isn't blowing. So I feel like this is the best place to film this particular video. So we're in Gunnison, Colorado right now. My husband is elk hunting this morning. I think he has 2 more days left. He has tonight and I think tomorrow. I hope he gets one. Cross your fingers. Say a little prayer. Anyway, I want to preface this video with just saying that I love the RV lifestyle. And at this point in time, I would not change a thing. I am loving this life. And this video is not going to be just one giant Debbie Downer, so just stay with me. Hi there, I'm Leanne, and this is Making My Abode on the Road. Here's the thing. Life in general ain't easy. No matter what kind of lifestyle you're living, no matter what you're doing in life, it's not easy. There's going to be challenges unique to your lifestyle and unique to just you as a person and even to your circumstances. Some of the things that I struggle with, you're not going to struggle with at all. They're not going to be bothersome to you at all. And some of these things you will definitely be able to relate to. With anything, you got to take the good with the bad, right? So, or the bad with the good, however you want to say that. So, you know, with everything that I am going to share that really sucks about RV life, I'll share some positive things and just some things of how I've overcome it or how I deal with it. I hope this helps you. I think it's going to help me just talking about it, just talking it out with you. Whew. I got to warm up again, sorry. Whew. That's good. Have you ever had Bengal Spice Celestial Seasonings tea? My husband calls it tiger tea because there's a Bengal tiger on the front of the box. It is so good. It has a sweetness to it and you don't even have to add any kind of sweetener. Now, I don't do that to my tea anyway, but if you like a little sweetness, it's so good. We're not retired and we are not independently wealthy. I wish, you know, but wish in one hand, you know. So we aren't 100% free. We can't just go wherever we want at the drop of a hat, fly by the seat of our pants kind of thing. It can really suck, you know. I can't just drop a hat and go see my family whenever I want. And that's tough sometimes. You know, it can seem like you're always on vacation. Most of the people that are full-time, this is how they live. And not every day is, you know, a vacation or a fun thing or an adventure. There's just regular old days where you're, you know, cleaning house. That's how it is for us. We don't have a home base. You know, this is our home. That's it. And we live day-to-day life in the RV. Whew. More tea. It's cold. Actually, it's actually really not that bad. I got the sun on my back. It feels so good. But the air is cold. Can you see my breath? You should be able to if it's 27, but I don't know. If that wind starts blowing, I'm going to freeze. I'll have to hightail it out of here, but I don't think the wind don't usually kick up until the afternoon. So when we start feeling kind of whiny about not being able to go where we want, whenever we want, we make plans, you know, so we might find something cool or fun to do locally in whatever town we're in. And sometimes it's big cities or near big cities. Sometimes it's these tiny little towns that have nothing, but every little place has something special. So I would just encourage you to look for stuff like that. You know, a lot of times during Christmas time, there's Christmas tree lightings. Gunnison is known for that, but I don't think you're going to be RVing in this town. It's too cold, too cold. Fun fact, Gunnison actually competes with Minot, North Dakota for the coldest place in the lower 48. Every year, it's a new competition. So if that tells you anything, or we will, you know, make plans for the future. And it always helps just to, you know, stop and be grateful, right? Be thankful. You know, just changing your attitude is a huge help. Sometimes you start to take things for granted. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes, no matter how you live. I think in general, Americans are kind of spoiled. So we tend to probably take things for granted a little more than most. Should we move? Well, we could try it. I'll try to move as much as I can to make it more interesting. But I'm on a hillside here and there's huge sagebrush, so I don't want to be tripping and rolling down the hill. Anyway, what was I going to say about this? Oh, so I'm a big fan of Hydro Flask, but I bought one of their coffee cups, one of their newer ones, and I thought it was going to be like this powder coating stuff on it, like all their water bottles and stuff are, and all the other, but they came out with this new thing, and it has like this sleeve that goes over the stainless steel, and it started separating like 3 days after I got it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like nasty is gonna get in there, and it was glued partially, but it started separating. I'm like, I mean, I only paid like 20 bucks for it, but I also only paid 20 bucks for this. And look, I love how it's like that old school, like the hammered, that green. It's so cool. And actually this could be a lid too. It has like a thing in there and you turn it and it can be a lid for the thermos. It is so good that the wind is not blowing. My hands would be falling off right now if the wind was blowing. One thing I miss so much is planting flowers or growing a garden. It's so satisfying just to grow, you know, a pot of flowers, and then you come home and your porch welcomes you with these beautiful flowers. I love that, and I miss that so much. And I've thought about dragging around like a small pot and just, you know, kind of putting some flowers in it, but that seems like more of a pain. I don't know, I'm thinking bugs. And also, where am I going to put it? Where am I going to transport it? So what I do instead, I will buy fresh flowers, you know, from the grocery store or whatever, or wherever we're at. And I'll put them in a vase and put them in the kitchen or wherever, or I'll pick some. And as far as a garden, we try to visit farmers markets, farm stands, U-Pick farms. By the way, we visited a U-Pick farm in California that was amazing. It was so fun just to go in there and pick produce, and the produce lasts forever. We also picked, it was in the springtime, got some tulips. They were having like a tulip festival. I'll link the video up above, by the way, if you want to check that video out. That was such a fun time in California. Highly recommend that. It definitely takes the place of growing a garden. I mean, might even be better, like I said, because you don't have to put any of the work in, but you get the gifts from it, you know? It's amazing. I love farmers markets. And actually, before we came back up here to Gunnison for elk hunting, we were in La Junta. I need another sip, sorry. Which is out east on the flatlands. It's about like Kansas, I guess. It has its own beauty, but actually we saw a big field of sunflowers, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's just so beautiful. They grow melons out there. Actually, it's one of the most popular melon places in the United States. Rocky Ford. Maybe you've heard of it. So we stopped at a farmer's market. I guess it wasn't really a farmer's market. It was more like a farm stand. I think it was called Mary's Farm Stand. Anyway, we got ourselves some green chilies, got them roasted up with some garlic, a whole bushel, got those in the freezer. I'm very happy about that. Made green chili last night. And I got some calabacitas. They're like a little kind of round, they're like a zucchini, but they're just a little round ball. They're so cute, actually. And then, what else? Oh, I got some Colorado popcorn, tomatoes, an acorn squash. I think that's about it. You know, so even this time of year, I mean, that was less than a week ago. So it just depends on where you're at, but that's always a good option, and it definitely helps me not miss flowers and gardening so much. Okay, I know I can't be the only one on this, but the floors are always dirty. No matter what I do, they're always dirty. And I know part of that is just being in a different location all the time and different terrain, you know, gravel, dirt, mud, grass, loose grass, dead grass. Somehow it always finds its way in. And not to mention we have 2 dogs, one really hairy dog. Right now what I do, I mean, we do have a rug, an outdoor rug, and I know a lot of people think that's just so silly, and it really helps with the dogs just to get the stuff off of their feet before they come inside. So if you have pets, I mean, I highly recommend one of those outdoor rugs. And you don't have to get the big giant ones. They have smaller ones. We have a broom, and we have a little like brush and dustpan that kind of came together as a set. And that's what I use to sweep off the steps before we put them inside, so all the junk on the steps doesn't go flying inside. That does help. And then we have a stick vac. Do you have any tips or hacks or anything, any suggestions? What do you do to keep your floors clean in the RV? If you're full-time, if you're a weekend warrior, you just camp once in a while, just let me know. I would love to know what you guys do to keep your floors clean, because I need all the help I can get. Beautiful, right? I mean, gorgeous. Unreal, unreal. And I'm telling you, the camera don't do it justice. Unreliable internet and cell service. Probably one of the most annoying things, right, about RV life. Incredibly inconvenient, especially the cell service. That's almost just dangerous. How do you deal with an emergency, right? Well, Starlink has totally changed that. Unbelievable game changer. Before we got Starlink, what we did, we had a hotspot, and we used the hotspot on our phones, which was just Verizon. I can't even remember the last time we used it, actually. Maybe I should lower my plan, save me some money. I don't know. Has anyone done that? Anyone who has Starlink, have you done that? Have you just canceled your cell service, or maybe lowered your plan and just used the Starlink? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments if you've done that. A lot of times if we were at an RV park that had really good Wi-Fi, we would use that. We would have to reconnect all of our devices, which is so weird. I mean, a lot of stuff would automatically connect, but like our little pet monitors, we have a camera, and then we have a little temperature and humidity monitor, and we would always have to reconnect, and it took like 30 minutes. Half the time we couldn't even get it to connect to like the RV Wi-Fi. So totally unreliable. And by the way, we have never had a problem with Starlink. We have always been able to connect, even if it was just a little spotty or maybe a little laggy. We have never not had service. And I mean, in the middle of the redwood forest, we had service. If you have Starlink and you have had it where you didn't have any service, let me know in the comments, and let me know where you were when that happened to you. I think that would be helpful for everyone, actually, to decide if they wanted to get it. Also, I told you I would let you guys know if they have sales, and right now they're having a couple really good sales. So I will put the link in the description, and if you use my link, you'll get a free month of service. You have to pay for the first month of service, and you'll get the next month free. That's just how it works. That's it is what it is, right? But if you use my link to sign up, you'll get a month free. And then I get a month free. So great way to support the channel. Things are always breaking. You saw the closet door, right? I hope I'm not echoing with my cup right there. I just heard an echo. It's really keeping me warm. Isn't that crazy how just a hot drink can keep you warm? It really is like an earthquake going down the road. You know, everyone says that. And one of these days I'm going to put a camera in there and just see what happens. Especially when we go down a road that I know is going to be really crappy. I would just like to see what it's like in there. I mean, I come in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, it literally is like an earthquake. You know, so people aren't lying when they say that. And so because of that, stuff is likely to break. You know, screws come loose, like all over the place. Inside, outside, things fall over, things shift, things rub on the walls, things rub inside the drawers. You know, and a lot of that, there's really nothing you can do about it. It just is what it is. It's part of RV life. But I do really like museum putty and alien tape, or some people call it nano tape. Actually, I think that might just be another brand of that double-sided silicone sticky tape. But you can stick stuff down and it ain't going anywhere. And the museum putty is just the same. I mean, it's not just the same, but it works just the same. That is a solution for some things, but I don't like to use it in the kitchen because we are full-time. And I do a lot of cooking, and I am a very messy cook. So I need to be able to really clean those counters well. But I think someone who just camps, you know, once in a while, or is a weekend warrior, or even like part-time, like 6 months out of the year, stick it down, and when the season's over, just do a good cleaning. Getting the mail, okay? And I know this is a big question. I had this question. Everybody has this question, especially if you're thinking about doing this. Mail is such a pain in the you know what, okay? It really is. You have to have a mail forwarding service. There's a lot of them out there. I'll link the one that I use down below. It does just fine for us. I know Escapees is a really good one. We use iPostal One. It was just a little cheaper. That's pretty much why I went with that one. That's the only way you can get your mail, is a mail forwarding service. You don't want to use it for packages, just for your mail. We try to digitize as much as we possibly can. Auto payments, paper billing, that makes things a lot easier. Some RV parks will not let you receive packages. They won't take packages on your behalf. Thousand Trails, I don't know if it's their policy, but a lot of these Thousand Trails will not accept packages for you. Or they will and they charge you, which I think is so crappy, because come on, like, you're not getting mail there already and packages, you're gonna charge me more? I can't stand that. But anyway, they say unless it's medicine or RV parts. Couldn't you just say it's medicine or it's RV parks or RV parts? I mean, right? I suppose you could, but I don't like lying. So there are shipping services, like right here in Gunnison, there's a, it's called Gunnison Shipping. And we actually had a package sent here before we got here, and they held it for us and we picked it up. There was a fee. So that kind of stinks. A lot of the shipping places will charge you an extra fee, but we had no other choice. We're boondocking. UPS ain't gonna come out here. Or you could have your packages sent general delivery to USPS, but not every US post office will accept general delivery. So you have to call ahead and set that all up. If they don't accept it, you got to find something. It's a whole ordeal, people. I'm telling you, it is such a pain. If you're dealing with Amazon lockers, but they're not available everywhere you go. I'm pretty sure they don't have them here. I don't even think they have an Amazon pickup location, which is a different thing than the lockers. A lot of times the lockers are at gas stations or grocery stores, which is very convenient, by the way. And you could maybe, try to plan along your route. That's risky business because the parking lots, you could look at Google Earth and try to figure out the parking lot, but did you hear that? That was a crow that just flew by. Did you hear him? It can be done, people do it. It just takes a lot of planning, It's so if you're not a planner, it could be a major issue for you. So just plan. I think it might be worse for us because we do travel every week. So it is kind of harder just to figure out the logistics. So it might not be such a big deal for other people. If I'm going to order something like packages from Amazon, I try to place one big order, things that I've been saving for a while. Tell me you don't have a bunch of stuff on your Amazon list. I know you do, because I do. When you go to the bathroom in an RV, everyone knows exactly what's going on in there. You can hear everything. Constantly having to be aware of the weather, right? Like you have to at all times know what the weather's going to be like, because you can't be in your RV in certain types of weather. High wind, 60 to above mile-an-hour winds could be a problem. You don't want to be tipping it over. You don't want to be in it when it tips over. It wasn't long ago, I think this spring, there was a man, a family. The man was killed, and it tipped over. It blew over in a storm, and I think it was 70-mile-an-hour winds, and he was killed. Tornadoes, forget it. Get out of there. Don't even mess around with that. If there's a tornado warning, just get out. I'll tell you what we do. We don't mess around anymore because been there, done that. I'll link that video in the cards above. If there's a high risk, or even marginal risk, we usually go about a 2 on the weather app. If it's a 2, we're really watching. If it goes up to a 3, we don't even mess around and we just get a hotel. We have a budget for it specifically for that, because we are not going to be caught thinking we can't afford it and then think that we have to go into a bathroom or something that is not safe. And half the time they say you can't bring your pets, and it's like, I'm bringing my pets. Sorry. And I'm bringing my kids, of course. Not that they ever say you can't bring your kids, but I'm just saying, you know, a lot of RVers out there have this thing against kids. But anyway, not you. I know you guys love kids. And I mean, that's not it. There's floods. Actually, speaking of floods, I'm sure you've heard about flooding at Pagosa Springs. We saw some crazy videos of people actually in the hot springs, like in the pools. If you've ever been to Pagosa, they have like different pools that it's like all built, you know. There's people, and the river is like up to the edge of the, and I'm thinking, why is this place open? People could be swept away walking on the stairs and stuff. It was up to the stairs. I don't know. I thought that was nuts. But anyway, we got a lot of rain and we were under a flood watch here in Gunnison even. And we were actually going to be in a different spot. We were going to go further up this road and kind of down by a creek. But we were like, no, we better not risk that. For one thing, it was very muddy and we wanted to be able to get out of here. It's dried up now and it's all good. But, you know, that's the stuff you have to constantly think about. So my suggestion for that is find yourself a good app, a good weather app, a weather radio, must have. Definitely get a weather radio, and then find yourself a couple of, or a good YouTube weather guy. We have a couple that we really like. Ryan Hall, I'm sure you're familiar with him. We also like Max Velocity. I'll link their channels below if you want to check them out. One of my favorite things about this lifestyle is the travel days. It's just so fun. You know, you're getting on the road and it's like you're going to see new things. Who knows what's going to happen? You know, it's exciting, you know, it's adventurous, it's fun. But sometimes when the travel days are really long, or if there are back-to-back travel days, like we recently had 3 in a row, that wore us out so much. It was brutal. It can get rough. The sitting, I'd say that's the worst part about it. Just the sitting for so long. I mean, you just start getting all achy. So what we do is just try to stop as much as possible. I used to pack a lunch and we'd have it in the truck with us and we'd just eat while driving so we didn't have to stop. We kind of changed that because some of our drives have been a little longer than we usually go. So now we just stop for lunch. You know, it gives us a chance to get out and stretch and all that. So, you know, that's just better, stopping. Another thing we do is prepare a lot of the stuff the night before. So like we'll put all the outdoor stuff away, or sometimes we'll close up the living room and we'll put in the slides and everything. Or I'll have some food ready, like I'll make a dinner that has leftovers and then that's what we have for lunch on the travel day. I'll bring a book. You gotta have snacks, okay? Come on, you just gotta have snacks. Healthy, non-healthy, whatever you want. Just bring snacks and drinks. Keep your trips short. We only do about 3 or 4 hours. At the most, we've done 7, and that was really only because, you know, Google time is always different. You know, Google could tell you it's 3 hours and it ends up being 6 hours, and it's just because it depends on how fast you're traveling. It depends on that. It depends on mountain roads. It depends on other roads if we have to go 55. So we always just try to keep things short. Okay, I can't rearrange the furniture. Is that a woman thing? That is so frustrating sometimes. You know, I just want to rearrange. I like to redecorate. I like to reorganize. You know, I like to do that. I think it's a woman thing. Are you that way? Do you like to rearrange the furniture? In RV life, adaptability is the #1 trait that you should have. Things are constantly changing. RV life is the most inconsistent thing that I have ever experienced in my entire life. But that's part of the appeal. I love change. It can make things difficult sometimes. You know, the grocery stores are always different. The gas stations are always different. Your hookups, you know, if you have full or partial or none, and also the reliability of those hookups, always changing. Your water pressure, your address. By the way, I have a safety tip for that. Have yourself a dry erase board, and everywhere you go, write down your address immediately. And then if you ever have an emergency, it's right there on the dry erase board, you know, and then if you have to call 911, you're not like, oh my gosh, where am I? Because how many times do you wake up and you're like, where am I? You know, before you get out of bed, you have to think. Sometimes it takes me a good 5 minutes to remember where I was, you know, and forget trying to remember the address. So write it down on a dry erase board somewhere every time you stop. good safety tip. And I should follow that advice more often myself. I forget all the time. The laws change. You know, like all the states that have banned plastic bags, you can pay for bags, but they're these really thick plastic bags that are just never gonna, disintegrate. They're just gonna be around forever. I mean, you could use them 100 times, which I know that's probably their intention, but who does that? Who uses those things 100 times? I don't. If you struggle with change, I would probably not recommend the RV lifestyle to you, unless you did part-time. And be stationary, maybe at home for 6 months and then 6 months in the winter spend in one location. I think that could be easier to tolerate because then there is some consistency. But if you thrive on change, I would say go for it. Speaking of change, we really enjoy meeting new people, but it seems like, you meet your neighbors and you chat with them a little bit and, they're super nice people and you're like, man, I like those people. Next thing you know, you got to leave in 3 days. And so you never really get a chance to get to know people. Not to mention, you never really know what you're going to get. It's kind of a safety issue. And that can be a little scary, and because of that lack of security in who your neighbors are, you can tend to be a little standoffish. Managing your time is so much more difficult. Literally everything has to be planned. Any routines and, schedules that you have are constantly getting interrupted. I have this routine that I love it. I absolutely love it. But anytime we have full hookups, I do 1 to 2 loads of laundry every single day. And it's so satisfying to me just getting that done. It just helps me feel like I accomplished something good. I love it. And, when we travel and I love it, I'm not complaining. Believe me, this is not a big complaint. I hope you guys understand this. I'm trying to be helpful here to you, especially if you're someone new. But anyway, I love doing laundry. I really do love it. It's so satisfying, especially with my little Splendid. I just do 1 load, pull it out, and immediately, as soon as the buzzer goes off, and fold everything up, hang everything up, put it away. And it just really gives me a sense of satisfaction. And it gets interrupted constantly. And it's kind of just, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do. You have to just be able to go with the flow. Whatever happens, don't let your routine getting interrupted make you have a bad day and be grouchy about it. I mean, just go with the flow. You have to be that way. I really, truly believe that if you're going to be an RVer. It's that whole adaptability thing, What is the thing about RV life that you think sucks the most? Let me know in the comments. And just to end this on a positive note, I love this lifestyle. I have more time with my family. Jeff works less and makes more money, so we get to see him more often. I get to see my kids more, we homeschool, so just more quality time. That is the best thing about this, and it's the reason we started, frankly. And the other thing is just the freedom of movement. I have always kind of had a gypsy soul, and I get antsy. I don't like to stay in the same place. And now my husband's that way. I think I've kind of rubbed off on him, but we'll be in a place for 2 weeks and it's like, we're done. It's time to go. Not that we don't like the place anymore, but we just get the itch, I don't really have another video that goes along with this one. This is different from what I do usually, as you know. I'm an organizer. I love to organize my RV, but this video right here is one of my favorites. It was a little hidden gem just outside of Galveston, Texas. We had so much fun there. And if that doesn't interest you, YouTube thinks that you'll like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.